podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Some of the topics are addiction, fear, faith, self-compassion, relationships, codependency, emotional intelligence, and more. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations. Love. We think about it, sing about it, dream about it, lose sleep worrying about it. When we don't have it, we search for it. When we discover it, we don't know what to do with it. And when we have it, we fear losing it. Love is the constant source of pleasure and pain, but we cannot predict which it will be from one moment to the next. It is a short word, easy to spell, difficult to define, and impossible to live without, says Heinar on Urban Dictionary. I'm having a conversation today with Lawrence McGrath about his own definition of love. Lawrence is 85 years old, an author who used to be a marine pilot, lawyer, college professor, college president, bank president, and a consultant. In his book, A Cry from the Heart, a personal essay, he expresses his thoughts about religion, dogma, love, and life. Here is the interview with Lawrence McGrath. In your own words, who is Lawrence McGrath?
Oh, mercy. I'm just a guy who had a serious question about the world.
That's simple, huh?
Yeah, that's simple.
Good. What is your definition of love, and how did you come up with this understanding?
Well, it's you got my 8-page essay on how I came about to an understanding. But after 44 years of trying to live in accordance with organized religion rules, I asked the 4 simple questions of why am I alive? What am I to do with this life while I have it? What is society supposed to do? And is there life after life? And I spent the next 20 years trying to find a factual answer for those questions and concluded that there is no factual answer. The 2,600 organized religions that have dogma to try to establish their beliefs as fact all boil down to 7 mutual exclusive dogma, and they're all based on belief. So from that, I went on to try to find out why we can't live in peace. And not only as husband and wife, parent and child, family, states, then the nation wars. It was all so confusing, and the answer is we just all of these dogmas are And then all of the dogmas are proposing killing each other in wars, justifiable wars, they call them. Nobody's fought a justifiable war. It's all to establish the purity of the dogma. So anyway, I came up and I found that the love is a misused word. Our language does not use the word properly. I say properly, does not use it in a way that is free from narcissistic motivations. And that's how I came up with being grateful for and appreciative of the object love. And if you have that in your heart, it cannot be a narcissistic motivation. It's a pure heart. And there's a second part that goes with that you cannot impose your will on another. And those two things would allow us to live in peace, I think.
So, someone could be grateful for and appreciative of someone else because that person's doing something for them.
Yes, that's true. And that's why you don't have to have a God as a value in that. You can, somebody buys you a dinner, you're grateful and appreciative of it. You can just give you a ride if you're walking, and anything that is like this podcast, like you're doing for me. You're giving me a chance to reach other people, and I appreciate that, and I'm grateful that you're spending your money and your talent to do it. So yes, that's. I think that's pure love. And the other thing, Nietzsche said that he thought all acts of love were narcissistic, that even a soldier leading a battalion up the hill, charging into the death, has an image of himself as a hero and a
Right. Yes.
and so he's not motivated for love. Although you can be. It's the heart is a secret message, and only the what is it? Only the something. Only the heart. Something I can't remember the quote.
You wrote, God's laws are telling me, please don't act selfishly toward another person. When you do, you hurt yourself, you hurt them, and that hurts me because I love you both. The life I've given you, it's hard enough without you beating up on each other. I believe God's command to love one another means to be grateful for and appreciative of one another. So, I have three questions for you based on this passage from the piece you wrote. What is your definition of God? Are you a religious person? And can anyone understand and apply God's command the way you explain here without believing in a personal God?
Okay, I'll answer those in reverse. Yes, it is. But my definition applies to all seven worldviews. So an atheist can be grateful for and appreciative of an object love without God telling him to. And you can just believe that there's a God. Then there are 10 billion people in the world, plus or minus, and each one of them knows God. God is an infinite spirit and cannot be known by a finite mind. And therefore, we have 10 billion minds trying to know a finite God. But the answer is God answers all prayer. He answers Muslim prayer, Jewish prayer, Christian prayer, Hindu prayer. And so we don't know who God is. And in answer to your question, I don't know who God is. but it's a mysterious spirit out there somewhere.
Yes. Have you experienced anything in life that you believed it was caused by your connection with God?
Yes, I have had God in my life powerfully. And
Oh, yeah. So at some point in life, you believed in the personal God.
yes, God answers prayer, and has to be a personal God.
Right. So at some point in life, you believed, or you still believe in the personal God.
Yes,
Oh, you still believe. You believe in.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So are you a religious person?
No.
What is the difference between someone who is religious and somebody who believes in a personal God?
Well, if you're religious, you believe in the dogma of the religion, and you believe it is true, and you don't need that's why I don't have any followers. I try to mention this subject, but I scare people because I take away the thought that they don't have a leg up, is what I want to say. They don't have a mark on God to get a quid pro quo. Why wouldn't you love a God who promises you life in heaven afterwards? That's a quid pro quo. They have the quid pro quo of love. It's not a personal relationship. Some people have, but not many. They don't. They killed the Christians. Killed people or the abortion clinics. They think they're doing God's work. It's nothing could be further from the truth.
How would you describe your relationship with God?
Well, I don't know because I don't know him or her. I don't know. I think I think he appreciates me trying to understand him, trying to know his ways, trying to do what pleases him. If heaven exists, we love out of gratitude and appreciation for him because he first loved us. Sager, who wrote the book Crossing the Safety, said he never made a friend who didn't first think he was remarkable. And I think that's I've searched my soul and I found that to be true. That somebody first had to think I was special, and then I would make a friend of him.
But isn't it narcissistic if we believe that there is a God out there that's kind of looking out for us and
Yeah.
appreciating and being, I don't know, grateful even for our existence? Isn't it a form of narcissism?
Well, I guess you could say it is, but it depends on your heart. I mean, if I'm not getting anything back, I'm giving. I'm giving when a great appreciation of and gratitude for. That's all coming out of a giving heart, and I don't see it as being narcissistic.
No, yes, you're right. Because narcissism also is has to do with taking, sort of manipulating. It's
Yes,
negative. It cannot be constructive. It's sort of destructive.
yes, yes, I think that the way the love is used is not right. We just, oh, I love that, I love this, and we ought to get a new word to to describe those
Yes.
feelings.
Yeah, I agree. You connect gratitude with a pure heart. What are other attributes of a pure heart besides having gratitude for and appreciation?
Yeah, that's the first time it's been presented to me, and you could be right. I haven't thought on that.
Oh, you never thought about the other attributes of a pure heart?
No, that's the one thing I came up with. I just I don't know. Nothing else is entered my. Yeah, well, there's again the use of the word love clouds our answer. You have to be You see, there, oh golly, most religions will say that we are sinners. We are short. We're deficient, and this original sin passes from Adam and Eve like a DNA molecule in our genetic code. I think it's different from that. I think we are born and would look at a baby and he cries or she cries when they're hungry, thirsty, wet, or tired. And they, in intensity, they cry until they get their needs met. Well, that's the only weapon they have is salvation, or not salvation, but in life to get their needs met. And that goes on for a year and a half. They always have mamas or daddies nearby who feed them and water them and change them and put them to bed. And so they expect their needs to be met. And I call that, I want what I want when I want it. And that continues on and is exacerbated by when they get their own motivation and try to take what they want when they want it, and then they can't get that, and then they develop all kinds of things that we now know as sin. And I think that if we could change our rearing code, they wouldn't use force to get what they wanted.
When they become adults, it translates into manipulation.
Yes, indeed, it does. Yeah.
Right. So you don't believe in kinds of love. You say love is just one love, and that means gratitude and appreciation.
The motivation to act in love, yes.
Would you say that, well, the way I understand as of now, yeah, gratitude, appreciation, the motivation to be like that, yes, it has a lot, it makes a lot of sense to me, into my heart, but also connection, like human connection.
The thing about knowing and loving is two people standing together. One is known and the other is knowing. Neither gets out of the other or into the other. They just are known and being known. But the idea of loving, as we use that word today, is there's a desire to incorporate or to be a part of the loved object. And that's why it's so different. You can be a known and not be affected by the knower, but you can't be loved and not affected by the lover.
Wow. You can be loved, but not affected by the lover. It's not easy to do, is it?
No, no, no. It certainly is not. It took me 20 years to get that sorted through, and you're the first one that really understands me.
Yeah, that's difficult to do. And you're able to do it in your life?
That's a question that you asked, and I do pretty well. It's a very conscious effort. But when a pimply-faced teenager in a red convertible whizzes around me and pulls in front of me and brakes on the brakes, I have a real hard time. I have a real hard. The best I've done so far is I pray that he doesn't kill himself or somebody else before he gets wisdom. But no, it's very hard, and it's a conscious effort, but it really takes the stress out of life. I mean, you can be a pleasant person and a good person and a happy person, and you don't have to like anybody. But you can act in love, and you can be grateful for and appreciative small things, little things.
That makes me think about compassion, because my definition for compassion, it's sort of suffering with others, sentient beings, included animals, plants, rationally, not emotionally. So we can find ways to kind of help them without this personal attachment. What is the difference between compassion, love, the way you define it, and unconditional love?
I think Nietzsche said there is no such thing as unconditional love. It's all a quid pro quo. The compassion, I'm trying to think of an example. Well, take the hurricane we had down here. I can feel sorry for the people who lost their homes and everything, but I don't love them. But it doesn't keep me from giving them some money to help repair their home. I don't see compassion. You incorporate compassion with work ethic, and the work ethic is the death knell for organized religion. You don't get into heaven because you do good jobs or do good things or anything.
Right. Whatever I see in the world that is negative or destructive and affects me emotionally or tries to, I try to improve myself, try to make myself a better person so I don't propagate the negativity. So I know it exists out there, but I don't want to be within me. Yeah, I call that compassion too, but I don't know what that is exactly.
Yes. Yes. Well, but I tell you, there's 10 billion people. It's a big world. And they've been working on the wrong set of values for a long time. And we've incorporated those values into governments. And the world is stacked against you. So I think that if you, Pinker wrote a book. He's a Harvard graduate teacher, and he says after he wrote the book and all the chapters saying how much better we are as a nation now, he still came to the conclusion that we don't know why we're getting together, but just keep on keeping on was his
Right.
was what I got out of it. And that is the thing. We can't agree on a common solution. So therefore, you can't agree on the common goal. And that's why I tried to reach the definition I have is you can reach that goal. You can reach a goal of loving with deep appreciation of and gratitude for the object love.
Right. Don't you think we have a common goal, regardless of what some thinkers say? A lot of intelligent people who speculate a lot about humanity. What do you feel about the common goal of not being happy? I don't believe that. I don't think we are really searching for happiness, but I think each one of us is searching for meaning.
Yes, Frank, the doctor in the Holocaust, who wrote "The Man's Search for
Yes, great
Meaning,"
book.
said, "Yeah, it is." And when you lose your meaning for life, you give up. You just quit, roll over, and die. So yes, and what I'm writing about is that it took me 44 years. Let me say this. Dogma is to my soul as an eggshell to the chick. I could not help but be born within it. I could not grow free from its influences. But if I did not break free from it, dogma would entomb my soul. And I lived according to dogma for 44 years, and you don't find anything outside of it. You try to live according to the dogma, and they have you in a lock chokehold. I think all organized religions are the desecration, standing in a holy place, or an abomination of desolation, standing in a holy place, and that's all of them. And you can't take on all of the religions of the world and be a single guy. But they keep you from learning the truth. And the truth is there is no truth to those four questions, no truthful answer to the four questions. And they're all based on belief.
Yes. So in a way, you're saying that it's really hard for most people to live without dogmas.
Yes, that's right. It is very difficult. A million or a billion Hindu dip their feet in the Ganges River and you get prayed for the entering into heaven, and that's all dogma. The Catholics believe, oh, it's dogma. It's crushing.
Yes. Yeah. I think you're right. And most people, they can't set themselves free and find out the truth, whatever the truth is for themselves, right? See, what do you think? I mean, we can talk here, but we don't really know what is the truth, the truth about life. Do you have some ideas?
I think Pinker got it right. I think we just have to keep on keeping on. I fussed at my God. He could make it a lot clearer. He could have given us a manual that was a lot easier to read and without as many hiccups in it. But he's chosen this way, and so we're just to keep trying and do good, do what you're doing. Just keep trying and be humble and keep learning.
Keep learning. Yeah, I agree. And meaning is very important. Yeah, talking about meaning a lot these days is Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you heard about him. He's a psychologist from Canada. He has been talking a lot about it and make great points out there. What I take from his message is meaning, like we've got to have meaning in life. That's really important. Find something that keeps us feeling alive, motivated to wake up every day.
Yes, and it's easier when you're young and have energy. It's tougher when you get old. And the body doesn't work so well.
That's true. So are you saying that you can have meaning up to like 60 and then meaning starts to take a different direction, a different color? How would you explain like this, the progression of meaning throughout the years?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that, but I know that the meaning got harder to implement when I got to be 83, 84. And it's tough to get out of bed sometimes.
How old are you?
85.
So what gives you meaning these days?
Broadcasting my little thought.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's about it. I take care of my wife. We just are getting along. That's it.
They're big things. Taking care of somebody else, that's one of the things that gives meaning to your life. And expressing yourself, your deepest truth, or whatever you think's truth. Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
How is your life different after realizing your own definition of love?
I'm free. I'm free from the chains of dogma. I'm no longer a slave. I'm a free man.
I like that.
That feels good.
Yes, freedom in the sense that you understand yourself better.
Yeah, I understand how my world works and how my world works with my God. I'm good with that.
Yeah, that sounds great. Are gratitude and appreciation daily practices for you, or they sort of happen naturally without any effort?
No. It's a consciousness 24/7.
Being aware, right?
Yeah.
How do you practice awareness on a daily basis?
Well, I keep my mouth shut, and that really helps.
Oh boy.
I, I had a
I won't be aware ever then. That's not good. Oh no. Uh,
uh, no, I had a quick tongue, and it got me in a lot of trouble. And so I have to, when I get a burr in my saddle, it just causes me to stop and think, and then to see where I can appreciate the person that caused the burr, and then to see how to react. Either sometimes I just let it pass. Yes, sometimes I can think of a way to make it good. Sometimes it works. It works for me. I don't react in anger, except with the pimply faced kid in the car.
right. It's tough. Yeah, it's not easy to be patient and grateful, appreciative of everything, including like, I don't know, violence and aggression
Yes.
around us, and ignorance and all that.
Yeah, that's true. And when you realize that everybody's acting in what they think is the truthful value, then I seek to know their truth. I try to understand it.
That's wise. I had a question for you about that. Yeah. Do you think it's easier to be aware or to practice awareness at this level as you get older, or anyone can do it? Young people can practice it too.
Oh, I don't know. I can't speak for the young. I have grandchildren, and the two twins. They like the stuff I write. I started a series called "Message to the Millennials" from an old geezer, and and they really liked it. And I wrote a book of my thoughts, and it's on Amazon. It's "A Cry from the Heart" by Lawrence McGrath, and so I thought I'd break it down into 1,000 words themes and different topics. And I got 12, 13 of them written.
I didn't know about your book, so I will get it from Amazon. Right, I have it here, and I will also mention in this podcast, like with the introduction.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you didn't mention. That's interesting that you didn't mention. Most people would. And that's great that your grandchildren, they appreciate the way you write and the things that you write about.
Yes, well, I have 17 grandchildren, and so there are 2 out of 17, I guess, isn't bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And are some of them interested in this practice of becoming more aware of love in the way you describe gratitude and appreciation?
Yes, but yeah, well, they're young, and I don't know if they're able to. I just don't know. I don't know how hard it is. They're both college graduates, and another granddaughter is coming to visit, and I think she wants to learn too. They're interested. The life is hard. It's hard.
Yeah, for them. It's interesting because when we think about gratitude, the word appreciation, they're so simple. Like it seems like a child would be able to understand that and apply, but most people don't. They understand, but they don't apply these values into their lives for some reason.
They've got to overcome what they've already learned. Socrates said it's easier to teach an ignorant man than one who is wrong, because before you could teach the wrong man, you have to first show him his error of his previous knowledge before you can teach him the truth. That's where we are.
So there's a lot of unlearning to do before they can learn new things.
Yeah, yeah, they have to unlearn.
So that's a good book to write, Lawrence. How to unlearn so we can become more loving. How would you teach the wisdom you found to those whose acts of love serve only to satisfy their love of self.
Yeah, my goal, I mean, what I believe is inform them of a new way of thinking.
Pretty much the same thing we were talking earlier, right? About unlearning.
Yeah, you just, the acts of love are selfish, and it's a quid pro quo, and you can't get there from here, and teach them that there's another way.
Yes. I think another issue is that out there we have a lot of self books on self love. And I think a lot of people
Yes.
misinterpret that. And they become selfish and narcissistic.
Yeah, there's a lot of books on how to improve yourself.
Yes. What is your definition of self love?
Relax, just relax and enjoy.
So the next question is, what are some examples of what you do or have done that are considered an act of gratitude and appreciation?
My wife is still working, and I cook, try to be involved in her daily work, and she. My life is pretty slow right now, as far as being a caregiver. I I don't I don't know that I'm doing much.
Right. But you are doing much in this sense of taking care of somebody else.
Okay.
So the other question I have here for you is, how many people do you know show gratitude and appreciation?
No one.
No one.
No.
Wow. Is that because you don't know them enough?
Oh, maybe, but they're pretty locked into their dogma of the teaching.
What is your understanding of well being?
Being content with yourself, being content with the life you've lived, or the lessons you've learned from living life. That's pretty well-being.
Yes, being content. I like the word of the idea, the concept of contentment.
Yes. There was a book, The Contentment of the Christian Life. It's an old book. If you believe in the dogma of the Christian religion, why, it's good.
Oh, it serves that purpose because it's religious. Okay.
Yes, yes, it does.
What are three things about life you know for sure?
Oh, mercy. Three things about life I know for sure. Well, I know I'm going to die, and marriage is hard, and life's a great journey.
What is the greatest thing about the journey of life?
The learning.
Learning anything or specific things?
Learning when you got it right.
Hmm. Right. Lessons of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where can we find more information about you, your work, your books, or your book, or future projects?
I don't know. I'm not on any of the podcasts. Or I don't. I have Gmail.
So you have an email, yeah, and you also have a book on Amazon. Can you please tell us the title of the book and how to find it?
Cry from the Heart. And there's another book by that title. She was an opera singer, but my name, Lawrence McGrath, is the author.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. It has been great to talk to you.
I'm glad. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Lawrence McGrath, please visit fitforjoy.org/guests. You will find his email and also the Amazon link to his book, A Cry from the Heart, a personal essay. To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.